Bants and Bants. Bants and Bants.
All systems go.
Bants and Bants.
Defiance.
Bants and Bants.
This rebel has a cause.
Bombs and Bants.
We begin as wanderers, and we are wanderers still.
Welcome, everyone, to the 65th live edition of Bombs and Bants and Wednesday Rants. As always, I am your dedicated and humble host, John Wilder, coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden deep beneath the surface of the earth. With me, as always, is Mark.
Hey there.
And the Mrs. May.
She's dead.
No, I'm actually here. I still don't have much of a voice, but it's better than it was last week.
And she is doing her Kim Carnes impression.
That's right.
She's got Marty Feldman eyes. All right. And actually, she does. The Mrs. does have eyes just like Marty Feldman. So everyone knows this is the magic of
That's
the
exactly
magic
it, right?
of audio. Have a good week, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Not too bad. How about you?
Well, I'm feeling better every day. So I'd been a little bit under the weather last week, feeling better every day. And the missus.
Again, I will borrow a line from Richard Hammond from Top Gear and say, is it the kind of under the weather where you feel better as the day goes on?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I felt worse as the day went along every day. So there. That being said, one of us went to the hospital this weekend.
That would be me, yeah.
The missus determined that she thought she could have her circulatory system on the outside of her body, and so she just started bleeding from the nose just intensely.
That's right.
For what, a day and a half? A day and a half.
It was close to that.
Yeah. So we need to just call you lucky, right?
I know. It's been a difficult period here between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, but you actually feel you may sound.
I'm not
but
feeling too bad.
Yeah. And after I popped you in the nose, I'm sure you feel better
I
now.
know.
Actually, the truth is, she woke me up after I'd slept about 4 hours, and I'm like, "Your nose is? What are you, 6?" So, but again, she's better.
And I said, "Yeah, my nose has been bleeding for 3 hours," which it had been at that point. So,
all right. Well, we do have news and comments. Shall we go to story number 1? Remember when Kamala didn't have the time to visit our southern border? Remember when Joe said we had more important things to worry about than the huge numbers of illegals crossing our border? Remember when Governors Abbott and DeSantis sent the busloads of illegals to blue cities, who then cried about how they couldn't handle a few hundred people? The New York Times remembers. The New York Times remembers. And the Newsbot has the story.
Over the weekend, a huge number of people arrived in El Paso, roughly 2,000 each day, according to officials. The group of about 800 to 1,000 people that crossed on Sunday night appeared to have been the largest. Blake Barrow, the director of the rescue mission of El Paso, said his shelter was bursting at the seams as the migrant influx continued. "The numbers are like nothing I've seen for the last 25 years, he said. The number of arrivals extended far beyond the large caravan that arrived on Sunday and did not appear to be abating. Rosalio Sosa, who runs a network of shelters including in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso, said migrants were still crossing the border on Monday afternoon. Across the river, a line had formed as the latest arrivals waited to be processed by U.S. authorities. "The queue right now is endless," he said.
and that picture
Indeed.
that's up there right now is actually a picture from NBC News taken, just within the past few days of the border. So that's what it looks like.
And I'm trying to pull that up, but my computer is currently having a cerebral hemorrhage.
You
So,
just get a new computer. I mean, I'm
I
just
did.
saying.
I did, but it's hard letting go of the old one. You know, it's never mind. Um,
That's why you don't use super glue when you're handling computers.
that's right. Meanwhile, the Washington Examiner reports the Biden administration has asked Congress for $3 billion to handle the anticipated costs associated with the huge rush that's coming up at the border since the COVID era Exclusion Act is set to expire. So that means that it's really going to be the wild, wild west on the border.
So you remember back when Trump was president, right? And he was trying to get the border wall built, and the Democrats kept telling him we can't afford the 40 million or 4 million or however much it was. It was not a lot that it would take to build an actual wall on our southern border.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But now, we have these millions. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly what it was, but it's a huge number. It's more than we've ever let in the same time frame, right? And we have to feed those people, and we have to find a place for them to stay, and we have to give them medical care when they need it, and then we give them all plane tickets or bus tickets and let them go wherever they want to in the country.
The idea is that
that's
they will
less
remember
expensive.
this and vote. Yes, of course, it's
know.
less expensive.
I know.
If you're evil.
Right.
Yeah. Again, this is the idea behind the border is, from a leftist standpoint, is that absolutely everyone is an American. They're just not here yet. And so we have Americans everywhere in the world who will act just as a heritage American would, because why not, right?
Right, exactly. Well, and then we have municipalities who are now voting to let non-citizens vote. A couple of states voted it down, but Washington D.C. approved it. So now, if you're just visiting in Washington D.C., you're going to be hanging out there for a while. Hey, there's an election this week. I can vote for the mayor of D.C.
No. It won't work that way. It's not for you, silly. It's only for illegal people.
Right.
Just like in Arizona, illegal citizens get in-state tuition.
Right.
If you're from neighboring New Mexico or Utah, you would have to pay out-of-state tuition. So just well, it's been Kamala Harris. We've talked about her, but Kamala Harris has been suspiciously quiet for several weeks now, like her mouth is full of something. And as our listeners may have noticed from the postponing of the Jackass of the Week segment, this has prompted many in the media to ask, where is Kamala Harris? The answer? Swearing in the new mayor of Los Angeles.
Support the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the State of California.
The Constitution of the State of California.
And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles.
And the Charter of the City of Los Angeles.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Of the office of mayor.
Of the office of mayor.
According to my best ability.
According to my best ability.
Madam Mayor.
Wow. Bass or bass. I don't know. I think it might be bass.
She's such an idiot!
Oh, Quizzer says, hey guys, just saying hi and giving a thumbs up before Advent service. Later. Take care, Quizzer. Let's see. Bass or Bass is the first Black woman and second Black person to serve as mayor of LA. Good luck, I guess. Yeah, as for Harris, her public appearances have dwindled over the past few months. Earlier in December, she attended the Kennedy Center Honors. Yesterday, she spoke to the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit in D.C., and here she is in her opening remarks.
Are you not going to read the rest of that?
Blowing the money line.
Yeah, well, okay, it was the important line in what she was saying, and she just screwed it up. But I think she can probably explain it better than I can.
The shape of this building is inspired by Yoruba art from West Africa. The metal lattice work that you see outside that surrounds the building is inspired by the intricate ironwork crafted by enslaved American and throughout, in particular, the South, but African Americans who were enslaved in the United States.
And the Iraq and so on and forth with.
I'm surprised she didn't break out into complete cackle. Kamala.
She's such an idiot!
Indeed she is. Indeed she is. And so she was at the Kennedy Center Honors. Well, yes, well, I'm just going to stop right there.
Well, I think they're just keeping her in a Tupperware container somewhere, perhaps in the White House. And they make sure it's locked so she can't escape.
I'd be surprised at this point. I'm expecting Biden to hit the campaign trail and try and get Ron DeSantis to be his vice presidential candidate. Oh my! But we do have a story coming up, or not a story. We have a commercial.
Do we? Do we have a thing? Do we want to do the thing right now?
Well, we should do the thing right now. Okay.
'Tis the season. It's holiday time. It's almost Christmas, and as we gather with family and friends, it's important to remember those less fortunate, and you can do so with a generous donation to Toys for Tuffs. That's right, Toys for Tuffs is the giving program for reprobates, miscreants, the recently released from prison, and listeners to the Bombs and Bants podcast.
I'll get all the sleep I need when I'm dead.
Merry Christmas from Toys for Tuffs.
What? A fuzzy stuffed bear? For me? Ah, you shouldn't have. Take the biggest guy in the world, shatter his knee, and he'll drop like a stone.
Merry Christmas from Toys for Tuffs.
A new throwing axe? That's so thoughtful.
I want you to be nice until it's time to not be nice.
Merry Christmas from Toys for Tuffs.
A squirrel-proof bird feeder? It's perfect for my little feathered friends.
Pain don't hurt.
Merry Christmas from Toys for Tuffs.
You're going to hand feed me oats before you ride me naked through a field? Like the world's happiest pony? Aw, it's just what I wanted.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Take some time this holiday season to brighten the day of a local Tuff. Give to Toys for Tuffs. That got strangely specific there at the end.
I'd forgotten that one. This is a rerun of a pretty old one. I'd forgotten that one, and now I realize why.
It's not really so much forgetting it, but blocking it out of your memory.
Yes.
Due to trauma.
All right. We have new words in the dictionary, or actually, it's an old word that has a new definition. For approximately the entire duration of the history of mankind.
And certainly the history of the English language.
Yes. The words man and women have meant the same thing.
Well, no, they didn't mean the same thing. That's now. Now they mean the same thing. There's no difference.
They have been consistent in their meaning and unchanging. As in, what's a man? A man is someone who is born with an X and a Y chromosome. But now, man is defined as, by the Cambridge Dictionary, as an adult who lives and identifies as a male, though they may have said to have a different sex at birth. The updated definition of woman reads, an adult who lives and identifies as female, though they may have said to have a different sex at birth. Not everyone is pleased with the change. Conservative commenter Stephen Crowder, I think he's like Colbert. Yes, I know it's Crowder. Remember, if you can control the language, you can control the population. And Dan McLaughlin at the National Review said, 1984 wasn't supposed to be a how-to manual. Daily Caller columnist Mary Rook had this to say, with help from Newsbot.
Traitors to the truth. Cambridge Dictionary is only the latest. If we don't stop them from erasing women, Our civilization is not going to make it.
There you have it. Yeah, and Mark, I'm sure you have some
Please
thoughts on this.
do not use gendered language to address everyone.
That wasn't Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, I said,
Well,
yeah. So, Mark, you have any thoughts?
it's just the insanity that what it really is. I mean, it's an attack on the family, which is the foundation of our civilization. And the sad part is they're attacking it because they see it as a way of destroying Western civilization, or Western Christian civilization, probably is a better way to phrase it. And I mean,
I think
that's really what it is.
Well, again, I've had several conversations with folks, and I've come to the conclusion that there's two kinds of government. And one is where it is desirous to use the power of the state for the people, and the other where the people have to serve the state. So one, the state serves the people, the other, the people serve the state. Now, for the state to serve the people, the atom of the family is necessary to keep those people together. I'm sorry if I'm getting very deep and philosophical, but if the people are to serve the state, the most important thing to do is break up that most cohesive and important building block, the family. And this
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2 plus.
Yeah, and yes, that's the leader of Canada. Canadians, what do you have to say for yourself? Yep. So anyway, Mark, you heard my soapbox. Any commentary towards that?
Well, no, I mean, I agree. It is. This is aimed at destroying the family and the family unit. And you're right. It's everything within the state, nothing outside the state. So.
And it's interesting that during the Spanish Civil War, the first thing that the communists did when they came to power was abolish marriage and make abortion illegal. And I got that backwards.
I think something just happened over on the other side of the room, because suddenly you have completely and totally no audio coming from you. So hopefully you can get that prepared. But I just had this ready to go, and I was waiting for a moment's notice.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess it's just you and me for right now, Mark. So let's move on. I will limp my way through this as much as possible. Okay, so do you remember that episode of Seinfeld? No, not that one. The one where George's dad, Frank Costanza, invents his own holiday, Festivus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes, exactly. Well, a newspaper in Florida wants to help you celebrate with the airing of grievances.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
And now you're going to hear about it. Yes, the Tampa Bay Times wants to hear your grievances. You can actually go to their website and vent your spleen and the things that they like, they'll publish in the paper. Here are a few that we have from some previous years. Why can't dog owners walk their dogs on their own lawn? If you think all this is sanitary after you pick up your dog's poop on my lawn, then please allow me to come over and poop on your kitchen floor and pick it up. Still think your kitchen floor is sanitary? That from Cat's Rule, St. Petersburg. Stunning. I would not have expected that from a screen name such as Cat's Rule. Here we have, there's no reason to stand while the plane is deboarding. I'm on board with that one. Literally sometimes.
Oh, I don't know. I have to say, okay, by the time I'm done with the flight, I've got to stand up and stretch because those chairs are just killers on my back.
They are,
So-
but then you stand up and you can't really get out of your seat yet, so you kind of have to do that hunched over thing, and you've got all your bags hanging off of your shoulders too, so it's kind of weighing you down. I always kind of feel like Quasimodo when I'm in that position. So I would just prefer to sit down.
Yeah, I generally seem to end up with the aisle seat, so it's not an issue. But so and then frankly, I've got a second reason I like to stand up, which is to stop the people that are trying to rush to the front and block everyone so they can get out first.
Right.
I'm sorry, that's probably terrible. I know you'll get lots of hate, or I'll get lots of hate on that, but. It's quicker to just orderly have it empty than to have somebody that for whatever reason absolutely has to get off the plane super fast. Of course, they bought the tickets in the rear of the plane.
Right.
Anyway,
sorry, Mark. I had to pause on you there so I could cough. This podcast is just falling apart quickly.
Surely you can't be serious. I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
All right. Back to Festivus. So, questions begin with so. Answers begin with so. And continue with and so. And end with thank you so much. Give it a rest. Dano, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, whom I suspect is probably a member of that social party from the 1930s that focuses primarily on grammar. I'm getting that vibe. Up next, nobody in my house can find anything in the fridge because milk is opaque and comes in large containers. We have this issue in our house too. Do you have that problem, Mark, where no one can ever find anything in the fridge?
Yeah. I think they need to make fridges thinner, so you can only put up one layer of things instead of having it 5 layers deep. So once you get back beyond, obviously you can see the stuff on the very front and sort of make out stuff that's like immediately behind it, but beyond that, it's lost.
Yep. But then
it might as well be Atlantis or something back there, or Bigfoot, something that you've heard about, but it's not real anymore until you discover it again. You clean out your fridge once in a while, and you find the little leftover tubs, the Tupperware or whatever, and you've carefully stored everything in, and it's all growing some weird green solution inside of it.
I have thrown away actual dishes, not Tupperware, actual dishes, because I've gone, this has been in here since the Reagan administration. I am not opening it. It's going right into the trash.
Don't throw out my guacamole that way. Oh, wait, that was supposed to be Jell-O pudding? Okay.
Right. I hang on to stuff sometimes, because we have dogs. I sometimes forget to feed them leftovers. Like, we still have turkey in our fridge from Thanksgiving because I keep forgetting to give it to our dogs.
No, it is sealed. And
yes. So it's not out in the open and gross, but yeah.
Yep. So I'm back. What did I miss?
We're talking about a newspaper in Tampa Bay that wants to hear your Festivus grievances. And so we're going back through some of their old grievances here. Are you caught up now?
Yep. Tadano notes, Tadano Hito notes that reminds me of the taco shells from 2009 I found in the pantry. And I'm going, I'd eat those.
He did.
I would eat those.
Yes, he tried those. I remember that. Not that listener and I know each other at all. All right, let's continue.
Hey, you know what? Those old taco shells go well with the 2-month-old taco meat that you've carefully put away in those.
You can scrape the stuff off the top. It's fine. It's fine.
All right.
It's probably nothing to worry about.
Yeah, see? You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, come on. It's just penicillin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Well, speaking of Christmas,
we're not done with this. We're not done with this bit yet.
Oh.
You can't just barge back in here and kick us out of our bit.
Okay.
Do you see this, Mark? Do you see how this works? We get
Well,
no respect.
carry on.
My
He's
shoes
trying to
hurt,
oppress
and
us.
I don't like car alarms. This person is my spirit animal. Here we have.
Do they have
why-
something in common?
I just
mean,
think
car
that,
alarms
that-
and shoes hurting.
Yeah, I think just that guy doesn't like either of them. And I don't think it's that his shoes hurt. I think his feet hurt. Let's go back to the guy with the who would really take issue with that. Your shoes don't hurt, man. Your shoes make your feet hurt.
No, he has a problem deep in his soul.
Well, you know what will solve that problem?
Massive cannibalism.
Always
That's
the
right.
solution. Massive
How you
cannibalism.
doing? Hey, Lorna, how you doing?
Yeah. Why did Lorna Doone Cookie Company redesign their packaging to individually wrap cookies into packs of 4? We didn't need more plastic, and now it's a hindrance to devour the whole box in one sitting. Miracle Maxine makes a good point. What's with all the plastic? So this is a true story that happened to my brother one time, and he
in
told me
way of
about this. Yes.
Consume calories.
It was like Christmas time, and he'd bought a little bag of the individual Reese's, the tiny peanut butter cups. Said I was sitting there watching TV, and I'd take the wrapper off and put one into my mouth, and I'd eaten 3 or 4 until I noticed that the peanut butter cup actually had another paper wrapper on the inside. Yeah.
Fiber.
That's my family, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
And our
Next.
last one, which is the best one, and it is this. Hey, Michelle, you snore too loudly.
Oh, JD Stutz is, I'm sure going to be, sure JD Stutz is going to have a very cool evening.
Probably he will.
Tara Brate asked the question, why is almost all the audio on just one side of left and right? And if you can hear this, is it just me or is it also the missus?
I bet it's me. I think I probably need to restart my computer. It's been a while. So it's probably my fault.
It was back in the Obama administration last time you restarted your computer.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I have actual work and stuff to do.
Oh, and he notes it's both of us today, so
wow.
I'm blaming you.
Well, but if it's both you and I and not Mark, I'll have to do a little investigation on this.
I just don't talk enough for him to figure it out.
All right. Well,
if I talk more, then I'd be included too.
Okay. Well, carrying on, and speaking of Christmas, do you know someone who hasn't gotten their required amount of virtue signaling for the year? Then they might be interested in renting a Christmas tree.
Boy, are you stupid, Charlie Brown. What kind of a tree is that? You are supposed to get a good tree. Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree? I told you he'd goof it up. He's not the kind you can depend on to do anything right. You're hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless. Rats!
Yes. One of the, probably the most classic Christmas cartoon.
And by the way, do you realize that this image that is on the screen right now, you can buy that Charlie Brown Christmas tree on Amazon.
That kind of
It's available for purchase in the gift store.
Defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it? All right. Renting a real tree comes with several eco-friendly benefits, starting with being incredibly low waste. When the holidays are over, you don't need to worry about how to recycle your tree. With proper care, it goes back to the tree farm, where it provides fresh air to the atmosphere and offers safe habitats for wildlife, just like in Christmas Vacation. Plus, the tree can be re-rented for 7 years before it gets planted in the ground in its forever home. But you pretty much have to live in California to do it, since the West Coast is shockingly really the only place in the U.S. where you can rent a living Christmas tree and then keep recycling and repeating.
But how much does it cost to get the person to come up and just hold it so it stands up straight? And so the cat can't attack it.
There you go. in California, I'm sure that they have people for that because they have homeless everywhere. So, and Jim notes he gets the misses entirely on the left channel, and Mark and John are on both channels. So
It's probably
a
my
you.
computer. It is. It's a me thing.
It's a you thing, honey. Yep.
Yeah, it is.
All
it
right.
needs to restart. My apologies.
I'm gonna have to say on the live Christmas tree things. My wife and I did that one year because we thought, oh, that'd be cool. Get a live Christmas tree. We don't have to put up with, all the crap of the needles falling off and stuff as it dries out. Because obviously, we don't know how to take care of them. And then plant it and see how it does. And we got it out there and it was great all through spring and it just died in the summer. So I don't think it didn't do anything other than cost us more money.
Yeah, the last time I had a live tree was actually way before the missus and I met, and I took it afterwards and put it in the family fireplace up in Wilder Mountain. I almost said the actual location, up on Wilder Mountain. And you know what? When I saw those limbs burn, I realized, no, because that thing went up just like, it just went whoosh. It was like someone poured gasoline on the thing.
See, and when I was a kid, we used to have live Christmas trees every year. And all right, so it was like family tradition that we would go out and we would cut one off of our own land. But we at that time did not live in a place where actual Christmas trees grow, that have branches strong enough to support ornaments. They were kind of these big, loping, willowy pine trees, I guess, right, with very weak branches. And my mother and father would fight over the Christmas tree the entire time. And especially when
this one's just fine.
Oh my God. The one time that I thought my parents might actually get a divorce at Christmas, on Christmas Day, was the time that my mom found this perfect Christmas tree that she wanted and loved it. And it was a really good looking tree. So my dad cut it down and dragged it back to the house and then just cut the top of it, off of it, so that it was about 2 feet tall. I thought my mother was going to kill my dad.
Oh, Christmas bush.
Yes, it was a Christmas bush. Yeah. And then we're back to Kamala Harris. Oh!
Well, guess what? It's time. We mentioned several Christmas movies just in that one segment. Mentioned Vacation. But guess what? There is going to be a new Christmas classic. It's starting this year. And it's Joe Biden who's home alone.
Hurry up, we're gonna miss the plane.
When the whole family made plans to travel for Christmas, they thought they had planned the perfect trip.
Final call for boarding. Final call for boarding for the last remaining passengers.
I feel like we forgot something. Honey, did you lock the doors?
Yes, dear.
Did you put a hold on the mail?
Of course, darling.
Did you take the dog to be boarded?
Naturally. It's all taken care of. You just need to relax. We're on vacation.
It was the Christmas they would never forget.
I just feel like we've forgotten something.
The Christmas when
Oh, no.
Joe was left home alone.
Joe!
Hello? What the f***? Where the hell am I?
Police in the northern suburbs are on the lookout for a pair of burglars who are calling themselves the Wet Bandits.
We know that you're in there, and that you're all alone.
Yeah, come on, kid, open up. It's Santa Claus. And it's Elf.
This Christmas, find out what happens when the most powerful man on earth is left home.
I haven't had a beating this bad since they took me behind the gym and beat the hell out of me in high school.
Alone.
Oh, man. There's no way this day gets any worse.
Don't miss Joe Biden, Home Alone. Coming to theaters this Christmas.
See, and unlike Kevin, I'm not sure he could shop for himself.
That's true.
He'd be too busy chasing down little girls to sniff their hair.
The Mrs. and I argued about argue is a strong word. We discussed there are two ways to do this. Number one, Joe is left home alone, and he would be kind of bumbling and maybe fall up the stairs. But then the other way to do it was Joe Biden was the sniffing bandit, and the Mrs. I think wisely said, "No, we're not going to do that." That's
This
a little
is a
too
family
onion
friendly
Christmas.
show.
Yes. So there we have it. That concludes the scripted part of our show. However, we have time to think real fast. All right. First up, Avatar: The Way of Cash. I did read a review about Avatar: The Way of Water, the latest movie from James Cameron. Yes. I heard it was like being waterboarded with turquoise water. Apparently, the movie is 3 hours long and doesn't contain a plot. Apparently, it's visually stunning and beautiful, and you can't tell one of the blue creatures from another blue creature, and they drill into space whales in order to get something out of their space brains. So it has no plot. It looks gorgeous. What do you think? Make $2 or $3 billion, Mark?
No. I read the BBC's review of it. It sounds terrible. Like basically, there's 15 or 20 minutes of action, and then the main characters go on a vacation and hang out at the beach and dive in the water, and that takes up
I'm on
like
vacation.
over 2 hours. Takes over 2 hours, and then there's like something a little bit at the very end, and that's it.
Oh boy. So the message, do you hope it's successful or do you hope it fails?
Fecal matter.
I didn't like the first one.
I didn't either.
I thought it was boring. It was a pedestrian story. The only reason I thought it was popular was because it was kind of groundbreaking in the visual effects.
And the 3D. I mean, the 3D was gorgeous, apparently. We saw it at home. But I thought I was not horribly excited by it in the first place. And that's about it. I'm hoping that he just goes and makes something better than this. But he's getting a little bit older.
He's planning on releasing like 3 more films.
They are, but this one has to make like $2 billion to break even.
Yeah, I don't think it will. And frankly, I hope they do lose their pants on it.
Yeah, because it's Disney too. Because Disney will be losing a lot of money, and I'm all for that.
That's
The
James
rumor
Cameron,
is,
right? It's James Cameron.
yes,
Yeah.
Doesn't he have enough money now that he can just, I don't know, build an underwater lair in the middle of the ocean and sit down there and
he could.
Yeah.
So
He could, but he'd rather take investors' money and waste it.
no, but here's the downside of news for everybody. We're going to have another one of these. I guarantee it, because he's already done all the filming, and they're doing the effects work right now on the third one of these movies. So there's going to be another one. Just let you know. I'm the one I am really, really, really looking forward to is the new Indiana Jones movie. Because in the new Indiana Jones movie, and this is a spoiler, apparently Indy dies at the end, but he dies back in time in such a way that he kills the old Indiana Jones, and he's replaced by a strong and independent woman. And these are all rumors, mind you, but the biggest rumor is this: that she goes through the temple from the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, finds that golden idol, but is smarter than Indy, doesn't trigger the ball, walks out and hands the golden idol to the indigenous natives. So stunning.
See,
and
this
brave.
is why I don't watch movies anymore.
Yeah. Yes,
well, I mean, I
indeed.
do, but they're all indie horror movies.
Okay,
this sounds like
let
an
me add-
indie horror movie.
Let me add something to that, though. Those are all the rumors, and I think they were accurate, because now the latest from Doomcock, who does the DVD Overlord channel.
That's Dichter
He-
Van Doomcock.
Victor Van Doom.
No,
Sorry.
Dictor.
Victor. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, he his latest video, I think it was last night, was that now the word is that they've been involved in reshooting the end because they had such horrible test audience reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, indeed.
It might change. Indy might survive.
All right, let's switch gears entirely. Bankman Fraud is in jail. He's going to fight extradition to the United States because, apparently he maybe likes other countries better, and he's upset that he is stuck in a Bahama jail and he can't get his vegan diet in a rat and tuberculosis infested Bahama jail cell. There are pictures that I've seen, and this is a glorious picture of his shoes in his Bankman Goes to Court attire. They were not laced properly nor tied properly. It looks like a 7-year-old did it. And not a 7-year-old, but a 7-year-old who maybe rides a shorter bus than other people.
Well,
but anyway,
I mean, in his defense, that I think is probably going to be his defense, is that he has a note from his mother that said it was okay that he committed fraud.
So
my mom said it was okay.
To get this straight, a 29-year-old with QuickBooks writing promissory notes to himself, writing IOUs to himself, took down $32 billion, of which $500 million of it belonged to Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. This is hilarious.
And he also kind of seems to be utilizing the Hillary Clinton defense. Well, I didn't mean to do anything illegal. Yes, but you did so many things that are illegal.
And Jim, what's on the notes? You heard it here first. SBF did not kill himself. And, there might be some tracks that people might want to hide.
Well, that's what I'm curious about is they let him keep his shoelaces.
No, only for jail.
Okay.
So
they leave his shoelaces in the cell along with his belt.
Well, apparently this Bahamian prison that he's
in. A loaded gun. Yeah.
Apparently the kids that have been arrested are also in jail. I mean, the same jail, and it's apparently just really horrific. And I'm just hoping that he has a wonderful experience there.
But it is kind of weird that they arrested him just like hours before he was supposed to testify before Congress. Normally, don't prosecutors aren't they willing to let you speak as much in public as you might want to and possibly incriminate yourself?
And that's
so why did the prosecutors in that case suddenly go, no, don't say anything. We're going to arrest you so you can't testify.
Remember, Epstein didn't kill himself.
That's true.
And remember, Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were sent to jail for pimping out kids to absolutely no one.
Right.
Where
did all the people on the other side of that equation go?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, this is probably just conspiracy theory.
Nah, it's probably nothing.
All right. And Jim Wetzel completely agrees with you, Mrs. All right. In France, which is in Paris. Oh, wait. In Paris, which is in France, there are riots all across the country because the Moroccan team lost, and France is apparently 92% Moroccan now. Mark, reaction?
I fully expected it. Import the third world, become the third world.
There you go. The missus?
Wait, what the hell are we talking about?
World Cup.
Soccer. Oh, soccer. Oh, soccer. You mean that game that little kids play?
No, it's the game that the European ladies play while their men do the dishes.
I'm going to have to find that sound clip for you.
Yep. So,
interesting fact, soccer was actually the name that originated in England and thereafter adopted in the U.S.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So Mark, who's going to win? Will it be Argentina or France taking home the World Cup?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Well, I sort of agree with that, but
You have to pick one.
I'm gonna just out of spite, I'm gonna say Argentina.
You are correct. The missus vote does not count.
My
All
vote,
right.
No, my vote is the New England Patriots will win.
All right. So, Ambrose Hill, better known as A.P. Hill, was a Confederate general during the Civil War, and he is now dead. But he was buried underneath his statue in Richmond, Virginia. So the city there got a court ruling that said you can remove it, and immediately began removing it, despite the wishes of his ancestors. So they took his statue down.
Do you mean his descendants?
Yes.
Okay.
Also his ancestors, because they were vampires and they lived 3,000 years and they can never die.
I think they'd have a pretty compelling argument then.
Okay, his descendants. You can concentrate on not coughing. I apologize.
I represent science.
So they're digging him up, and they won't give the family, the city won't give the family the statue. Mark, why?
Because if they give them the statue, then that would allow them to retain some honor and dignity within the family.
Wrong. The missus, why?
Because it used to be that you were as an American, the only crimes or bad things that happened that you were responsible for were the things that you did. But now we live in the new and improved America, run by Democrats, where you are responsible for anything your ancestors have done in the past, but only if you're, let's say, your outward appearances of a certain hue.
I have another answer. Can I give my answer? Can I give my new answer?
Okay. Yeah.
It just came to mind.
Okay.
It's because the director of public works there ran out of copper to steal from other buildings, and so he's stealing a bronze statue.
And you're wrong, but that's much closer. Here's the real answer. They actually did donate the statue to the Black Lives Matter chapter, or actually it's the local Black History Museum, and they are going to melt the statue down into little figures of George Floyd that are so beautiful they'll take your breath away. Next.
That can't possibly be an actual real thing.
Actually, they did give it to the local Black History chapter, and the descendants are fighting to get it. Now, they're not melting them down into George Floyd statues that will take your breath away.
It's hard to tell in this day and age, We've gone so far around the bend, it's hard to tell what's actual news and what's the Babylon Bee, right?
Yep. Okay, the Rings of Power, Amazon's failure, has set its directorial team for the next season. It is stunning and brave because every single director for every episode next season will be a woman. And apparently, maybe actual women, not the new definition of women. So, my question to you, Mark, who's the actual man in charge?
No one.
The missus.
What show are we talking about again? I had to mute my mic and
the Rings of Power. And actually, you get a different question. What was the audience wrong in not loving it?
Yes, they were wrong and they were bad, and they should feel bad about not loving that. And in fact, they should probably, I don't know, give 10% of their income. No, 50%. 80% of their income to Amazon to make up for this.
There you go. All right, Mark, AI art is now all the rage, as you can get a computer to craft art for you that looks, I've seen some stuff that's really photorealistic. Mark, is this theft?
Theft of what?
The missus? Is it theft from actual artists?
Yes.
It
But
is stuff
all,
from.
but all reparations and royalties from those should all go to Lars, the drummer from Metallica.
No, they should go to George Floyd to make heavenly little copper statues of him so that they take your breath away. All right. Last story of the evening. Carrie Lake was a candidate for, was she governor or was she
That was governor of
representative?
Arizona. Yeah.
Yep. And she's moving forward with a lawsuit. And the judge to hear, and we've got to be very careful about this so we don't get bananated, is to hear about 300,000 ballots without any chain of custody information. Mark, why does she hate the voters?
Because she's part of the patriarchy.
There you go. She's part of the patriarchy. The missus. Why was Carrie Lake not named Carrie River? Wouldn't that have caused her to win because of the rushing sort of thought about that?
If she had been a companion on Doctor Who, we would have just found out that she is actually Donald Trump's grandmother, and her real name is Riverhold.
Or Carrie Song.
Yes.
Wouldn't have been Pawn.
I'm sticking by that.
I can see the future.
I think we have exhausted all of the evening. So on that note, I would like to thank everyone who has come by to participate in this nonsense.
Who fell into this vortex of
yes. We'll be back next
feeling.
Thursday. Next Wednesday, before Christmas. We'll have a before Christmas show that'll be very special, even though we haven't written yet. Mark?
What, I'm supposed to write it? Oh, no.
Yes.
No,
yeah, that will be Mark's job.
All right.
You'll be in charge
Hey.
next week, Mark.
Say some words.
Great.
Say some words.
Bye, everyone.
Yo, come back now, you hear?